And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another day of the Overwatch League APAC edition. It's the final day of the week, the final day ahead of the Midseason Madness tournament. I'm Achilleos. Joining me is Avril. Had leg day filling in. Thank you so much for holding down the fort in my absence. But oh boy, it is time to focus up for some gameplay because this is going to be an incredible one as per usual. It's the classic. It's Dynasty going up against Fusion. Dynasty firmly in that first place spot. Fusion looking to rectify some of the mistakes that we've seen from them throughout this second leg of the season.
The classic Spaghetti Bowl matchup, my favorite matchup from all of 2021 last year. And, well, it's a little bit different this year because it's been fairly one-sided so far. This is the kind of Seoul versus Fusion rivalry has been brewing ever since, I think, the 2020 playoffs. We talked about the history in depth so far. Seoul currently, like you mentioned, at the top of the standings. They were the first team in our region to qualify through the Midseason Madness. Philadelphia Fusion, after winning their most recent game, were also able to qualify on through Chengdu. Unfortunately, couldn't beat Shanghai, so there you go, 7 points there in number 4. Neither of these two teams can currently move in the standings. So Seoul are guaranteed number 1, Fusion are guaranteed number 4, but they do qualify. It's really about those two middle teams that's of which Hangzhou will be playing today. If Hangzhou win at all today, they will be overtaking Dragons to get the number 2 seed.
They're going to be vying for that spot, have some better seating overall for the tournament as we get ready to have some international competition. That gets me excited, and I hope you guys are excited for that as well, but we do have to wait a little bit longer. We have to go through these series here today. All you can be assured of is that it's going to be a hell of a lot better than what was witnessed on NA at the beginning of the evening, because I stayed up, I watched that game. I don't know why I did it, kind of regret it, but it was still entertaining the whole way through. But yeah, pretty tragic stuff, but that's why we watch APAC, because we're smarter, we're superior. Anyway, hype matchup means hype video. We've got something special prepared here for you guys as we get ready to go into the season, so let's go ahead and roll the tape.
Yeah. I was born with the story. I was born for the glory. Through the heat and the rain, can't deny and ignore me. I'm bred for commitment, signed up for a mission. Yeah, it comes with the price. It's all in the description. My time has arrived. I can't hesitate. Nothing is in my way. Knocking down barricades. On a different type of time. Dreams are never late. From the jump, I'm the person you can never break. Working after hours. Seize the moment, I can't back up, call a coward. Student of the game, like I ball at Howard. You can cut me down, I can't be devoured. Heart on 10, courage on 10, all I think is win. I can't watch it in 2020 through the lens. When I fell off, I always had to try again. Got the code that connected like I'm signing in. Ain't got time for indecision.
And there we have it, Dynasty versus Fusion to kick off the last day ahead of the Midseason Madness. And while this doesn't have any implications as far as seeding is concerned, it's always a treat to watch these guys square off. Like you said, has been more one-sided as of late because Dynasty have just been on an absolute tear, very much solidifying themselves in that top spot for the region. we're hoping that Fusion can step up to the plate and deliver an exciting matchup here today.
I mean, I tell you what, pride is on the line for sure because, you know, these two teams, as I mentioned, the history goes back a reasonable while now. You know, all the way back into 2020 playoffs, a couple of tweets sent those boats sailing, and, you know, we've been in the Trojan War since. So, Seoul Dynasty, last 2 times that they have faced off against the Philly Fusion have been full sweeps. It was a 3-0 in Kickoff Clash, a 4-0 in the finals of the Kickoff Clash, and now who knows what the result could be. Fusion, maybe they're in a bit of a comeback. They had a bit of a struggle in the regular season here as well, where they had that 1 week losing to Valiant. That was a reverse sweep, losing to Chengdu in the same week. Unfortunately, they got wiped by the Dragons as well, but they were able to, you know, beat the Hangzhou Spark, they beat the Guangzhou Charge as well. And in the past, they had great results versus the Shanghai Dragons, so not out of the question that a team like the Fusion could still make a bit of a comeback here. I want to see them competitive. This has been a fun matchup that we've had in the past, and let's hope the fun continues.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, this is also a rivalry that kind of transcends just the Overwatch League. If you pay attention to a couple other esports out there, you know, the parent companies of T1 Genji have often had a bit of a rivalry back and forth, both in-game and also between CEOs Arnold and Joe Marsh. Like to go ahead and talk some trash at each other. So this is always a great matchup to see, and one of them is going to be able to hold their heads high and talk some smack at the end of it all. Dynasty going to be looking for a clean win, though. They want to maintain that dominance in the region and have a hell of a lot of momentum to drive them forward into the Midseason Madness, where they will get ready to take on some of the teams from North America. Fusion, again, looking to spare some blushes. Here's the map set as we kick things off on Control. It's going to be Oasis to start things off, and then always a bit of a cause for concern. Midtown is
Guaranteed
the hybrid
Midtown.
map.
Woo!
Oh, baby. We'll see what happens.
That.
It was a bit of a Midtown incident in that Titans Justice series. Granted, I think every single map in that series was a bit of an incident, so it's hard to single out Midtown. But here we go. We'll jump right into Oasis first.
You talked about the Seoul dominance so far that they've shown so far in the season. Well, you know, let's get into that a little bit, because we have a major win streak. 8 games in a row now. 8 series, 8 matches in a row for the Seoul Dynasty that they've won. That includes, again, a 7-0 in terms of maps versus the Philly Fusion themselves this year. So Fusion have yet to take a map off the Seoul Dynasty so far in 2022. Plenty of time to change those fates. Coming through on the opening rollout, Smurf onto the Doomfist, Fitz playing the Ashe, MN3 matching. We are seeing a lot of Ashe coming through in the APAC region now.
Yep, and MN3 did recently just pick up a player of the match for himself with that. See if he can do it once more. Profit on the Tracer, getting over here by Bellows-Ria, at least scouting out, spotting where the Fusion players are at. Point now going to be unlocked as the Fusion start making their way forward, looking for some targets. Smatterings of damage thus far. No one really finding too much purchase here on the point itself. Smurf just going to be taking that seismic slam over towards the health pack. Keeps himself safe, but off screen. Vixa gets on top of Vinheim, manages to take him out with a whip shot. It's going to be Fusion who lock things down first and foremost here on University. So continuing a bit of a botch on the dynamite toss, but Vince is dead.
It won't matter there. The damage has already been found by the rest of the members. MN3 got a final blow anyway for the Philadelphia Fusion. In order to get that first fight victory first to actually get on top of the point when the point unlocks. Smurf taking a bit of pressure, can't make a dive happen. Bellows-Ria is inside them, and Philadelphia Fusion will be pleased with the opening fight win, which is also a 4 final blows to none so far. Seoul get to pick up a kill in that initial fight, but they do have Nano coming online very quickly from Creative.
Pulse out from Zest, not going to find anything. Profit still trying to catch up, 18% off of that one there. Smurf just makes his exit, rejoins in with the rest of the team, does get pile driven from behind, but Bellows-Ria not going to be able to lock down that Doomfist too much. Looks to roll through, good shield bash, will knock him away. Sleep Dart connected on his Zest, and Profit is there for the alley-oop. Managed to find the opening kill, and will be the first one here for the Dynasty thus far on the map, and even with just that, it's enough for them to get the flip. I'm not sure I understand this Nano, though.
Not too sure if Vinheim maybe got low there. Creative Value was keeping Vinheim alive. Certainly he's been a bit of a raid boss on this break so far. Some heroics being shown there. The Ashe players will be trading out. The frags going through. Smurf almost on the meteor strike. Aim God has his Transcendence available. Fix sort of the rally.
I mean, yeah, they're trying to win this one out. They might just be able to do it. Fitz now going to be taken down. Profit rejoining what he can get done. Transcendence still going to be held on to. Fixa now going to be taking a nap. Does get woken up, but it's going to be Vinheim is the Brigida that ends up falling. Bionade is out, but Aim God can't get the kill. And the Transcendence healing is there on the back end. They keep Fixa alive. Fusion still looking for the flip, but now Aim God going to fall. Prophet finding an elimination, but now Smurf going to be taken down. Flip nearly there, back into control for the side of the Fusion. Zest, however, falling. Creative finding a nice little shot, but Bob will get Fixa. That's the supports widely out of the fight here, and it seems like the Dynasty should be able to persevere, especially with that final kill there onto MN3 for some additional stagger. They managed to win out the fight despite the swings back there in the Fusion's favor. They hold on to the point, now they have the lead.
I mean, you look at the actual cap itself as well. Philadelphia Fusion almost got that flip over. Seoul Dynasty, I believe, contested the very final second possible. Bob pulling a lot of weight there as well. Fitz committing that one tells you the Seoul Dynasty do not want to give it the point. They do not want to give it the fight. And they do indeed turn it back around despite the double support ultimates from the Fusion. To see if Velas Ria can live here. He got quite low on the HP.
The Bobs have been putting in some overtime as of late here in the APAC region. It's a hell of a lot of heavy lifting from them. And seems like this map not going to be too much different there. Initial kills coming through, the DPS going to be broken down. The supports fall on the back end. Dynasty firmly in control now, still holding on to 2 ultimates. Fusion with nothing are in last fight territory.
Yeah, and the timing is really awful as well. Fixa coming back own to a Ana. More importantly, MN3 on the Sombra, just to enable extra touching ability. So 3 players that can actually touch here. MN3 will be lacking a lot of damage. We'll see if Philadelphia Fusion can hold on. Okay, well, I know you got scared there. We did just watch out Titans earlier on, but, you know, hopefully Fusion can do a better job.
Okay, Prophet going to be whiffing the Pulse Bomb. They get the Sleep Dart. Aim God's got the charged up right click to find the elimination, but Velas Ria was taken down in the meantime. So many people occupied in that back line. Touch comes in once more from Zest. Discord Orb out onto the Tracer. He's going to have to get back in. Dashes forward, pops the recall. MN3 down to a sliver of HP, narrowly manages to survive. The Fusion playing around with the time pick as much as humanly possible here with that overtime bar. Bob, as you say, now going to be invested. Sat here on the point. Discord Orb is there. He helps burn down Velas Ria. And while they did manage to find Vinheim, they weren't playing the point. LT bleeds away very quickly. So it will be the Dynasty taking this first point, 147%.
Very difficult to play the point when Sabob comes on through, right? You see Philadelphia Fusion darting in and out, watching that overtime wick go down rather to, you know, basically nothing. Somebody from Fusion will engage the touch. They keep it going for as long as they can, but the damage was definitely lacking. MN3 coming back on a Sombra, as mentioned. Not going to have the same impact as the Ashe. You're not going to be able to find those very important burst damage kills, a headshot onto Prophet, something like that to buy you back in. So Philadelphia Fusion just desperately looking for anybody. Bob cleans them up. Seoul Dynasty take our first round. But very competitive so far. As, you know, even the kills would say that. 12 to the Seoul Dynasty, 10 from the Fusion side of things. So only 2 final blows separating these 2 teams. Moving over towards City Center. Fitz will shelve the Ashe for now and go on the Sojourn.
MN3 still just going to be sticking through. And we still get that Doom Meatball matchup here. Probably not going to be finding too much, just fishing around with those left clicks, looking for any kind of stray damage he can get. Prophet going to be forced to recall now. Zest doing the same. Finally winning out the fight here, but he'll start coming Prophet's way. Discord Orb out as well, and Zest will just go ahead and disconnect from the fight. Overall, pretty even on that Pulse Bomb charge between the 2 Tracers. Velas Ria trying to contest over towards Street side. Aim God will find Fitz. He looks to crash through, can't make it happen. Gets slept for just a moment, but woken up quickly thereafter, so can make his exit to safety. The Fusion once more will find the initial lockdown of the point.
It's 2 in a row now, that's Fusion. Opening frags look pretty good as well. Aim God, that first blood. You see the difference between the Ball and the Doom here as well. I think Smurf definitely just has a little bit more trouble staying alive. Ball has the survivability and the mobility as well to just roll around. Very great on a map like City Center. Seoul Dynasty. Fitz now coming back towards an Ashe. So the Sojourn experiment lasts a very short amount of time. The Nano, as you had mentioned, has now been applied.
And it doesn't only do a kill though. MN3 is actually going to be able to win out that fight point blank against Smurf. Massive kill here for the Fusion to be able to hold on to the point. Prophet and Zest both using Pulse Bombs, both finding no kills for them. As the rest of the Dynasty just look to go ahead, pull back over towards the spawn room, wait for Smurf to rejoin. Operate together as a 5-man unit. Fitz on the late swap, obviously not going to have the Bob. MN3's got it in the pocket.
I mean, what you see there with the Nano is that, okay, it keeps Smurf alive with the Doom, but it's not going to really enable the damage. You still need Prophet to connect those dives together. Ideally, if Fitz can add some damage in there as well, it'd be really nice. That's kind of the difference, right, between a Doom and the Ball at the same time. Ball's burst damages can be pretty decent. Fitz will take down MN3.
He's looking for Fixa as well.
Seoul Dynasty
low.
they're looking for.
Yeah, they force the Immortality Field out as well. Dynamite around the corner, just going to be chipping away at the Baptiste. He's going to leap up onto the high ground now just to try to stay a little bit more safe. Prophet goes in for the chase, however, continues to take him lower and lower, and finally we'll find that elimination. AimGod not in a position to try to offer up that Transcendence to keep his cohort alive. Even then, not sure if he would have wanted to use it in that moment. They know that they do have time on their side, as they're getting closer now to 99%. Belisria going down, Fixa now going to be swapping over.
Double.
Thinks better of it, goes back over to the Brigida. Zest will die, and the flip is finally there, 93% established for the Fusion.
Okay, and they will have a couple ultimates coming online, importantly, to hold on to this as well. So Philadelphia Fusion, happy with the 93 so far, I believe. Seoul Dynasty should be another nano coming through onto Smurf. And you know, in saying that, we have actually started seeing some nanos being applied to Ashe players, some Tracer players as well. It's not guaranteed necessarily for the Doom player, however, you know, Smurf being the player that dives on end is probably going to need some saving. But thankfully for Smurf, there's not insane counters on the other side from the Fusion side of things. There's no Ana, right? Zest will be able to do some decent damage on that Tracer. We'll see if that stick does come on through.
Bob on the ready, AimGod forced to use the Transcendence. Zest just diving over towards the Zenyatta to stay safe. Deep dive in from Smurf, instantly goes into the Meteor Strike. He's looking for the elimination here. Onto AimGod, the Bionade is absolutely massive. Catches onto 3, and Fitz can clean up the kills. Now MN3 being put in the corner. Punch through, Vinheim arrives, the whip shot gets the elimination. A massive one fight there off the back of a Meteor Strike and an Anti.
A really good pincer maneuver as well for Seoul Dynasty, right? You see Smurf go for the Meteor Strike deep into the back line. He instantly punches players back into his own team, connecting everything together. You talked about the Bionade as well. Fitz getting the damage in there for Seoul Dynasty. Exactly what they need. 2 ultimates spent. But a very resounding one fight there. Here comes that Bob coming through.
Well, they're looking for the dive again, but Fixa this time. Shield bash able to finish off Prophet. Good damage coming in from him.
He's dodging the bomb through
He's
the
just
tree.
eating the bomb, but Smurf goes into the back line, finds him in the end. It's going to be a trade out on those DPS. That's still staying alive. Still quite far away from having that pulse at the ready. Seismic Slam, Smurf just looking to continue to contest the point, making sure the Fusion cannot reflip this because both teams now in that final fight territory. Whoever controls it just needs to win out one more. That's basically going to be the round over. Pulse Bomb goes through, but AimGod dead ahead of time before the explosion even comes in. Prophet dodging traffic, Fixa now gone.
Double supports
out of the fight, and looks like Dynasty may just be able to end it right here, right now. The flip has come through. Fusion get a couple extra seconds to play with as the Dynasty flip this back under their control. But now it's there. The OT starts bleeding away. It's going to have to be Zest that goes for the touch. Manages to make his way forward. Prophet takes a nasty shot of damage. He can stop back up. Belisria crashing through, just rolling around on the inside, trying to stay alive, but he's going to be taken down. MN3, the Bob, nearly there, just 2% away, but somebody needs to get the touch, and Fixa is just a second too late. The Dynasty, they'll be able to close out City Center and take Oasis and kick things off with the 1-0 scoreline.
What we see is Fusion, they're able to actually get, you know, these initial fight wins, the opening skirmishes, the opening neutrals go their way, especially on University, a 4-0 in terms of final blows. Seeing on City Center, rather, AimGod will find that first blood and they can, you know, do a little bit of snowballing, but not quite enough to maintain control all the way to 99 or get that round win. 93 is still pretty damn good, don't get me wrong, but once Seoul Dynasty get that flip, their control of the point, their defensive play is, well, actually, it's pretty offensive when you consider the fact that Smurf is just going to go super deep. You saw the Fitz Bob coming through for the spawn camping as well. MN3 doing his best Shaq hiding behind a lamppost impression. He actually was dodging out the Bob shots by hiding behind a very thin tree, but it wasn't going to be enough, right? Seoul Dynasty, they had the pace, they had the tempo to keep Fusion locked up in spawn for as long as possible, and then play the rest of the fight on the actual point when the OT hits in, getting both supports. That's going to be GG.
Well, there you go. A map win here for the side of the Dynasty. Fusion, though, looking competitive. Just can't quite get those rounds under their belt to try to take Oasis. Midtown is going to be coming up next. We'll see what happens as we jump into Hybrid, see whether or not the Fusion can tie up this series or if the Dynasty will continue their dominance over this squad here in 2022 and take it to match point. That's going to be coming up in just a few minutes, so do not go anywhere. And we are back. The Dynasty continuing on their reign of terror. They start things off 1-0 here with a 2-0 win on Oasis. Now we turn our sights over to Midtown to see whether or not the Fusion can have an inverse incident, a moment, I suppose, is what we could call it, and tie things up 1-1.
Pretty sure the last Midtown that Fusion played was actually pretty reasonable.
It was.
Pretty sure they actually won that one, but you know, there's still a few scars and there's some battle scars from previous little visits to New York. But going into the next map, yeah, I mean, looking forward to more. Well, actually, I don't even know who's going to play. We'll see if Seoul Dynasty make any substitutions, because I was going to say Fitz was pretty insane on Oasis, and he is going to be substituted out for Stalker, who at this stage, I mean, it's hard to say, because I want to say that Stalker's going to come into play Sojin, but is he? Since most of our teams now in Asia are actually kind of favoring the Ashe instead, and the more I look at it, the more I'm like, maybe it is the right pick. And if you remember, at the start of the season, especially in the kickoff clash, I'm like, oh my god, why are these people playing Ashe? Like, what's going on? Are we back in 2021? But when we are in a Sojin meta and we think about, you know, consistency of damage, Sojin's got great burst damage, don't get me wrong, but the consistency of damage that I've been seeing over this weekend and in the past week as well from our Ashe players, and the fact that they are choosing to play this hero more, really speaks volumes, especially when you consider Fitz dominated on the Ashe pick on Oasis. 12,000 damage per 10, 12 final blows, just really did a lot for the team. That's nearly a deadlift. It was 25 total final blows, Fitz had 12.
Pretty damn good, as it turns out, but Stalker has been looking excellent as of late here in this second stage of the season so far, so unsurprising to see the swap come through, and like I said, likely going to be the Sojourn from him, as we see it highlight right now, but even when he does have that Ashe in his own hands, it has not been too bad. And you see here the writers taking some stuff from what you said. Not dropped a single map this season.
The 7 becomes 8 now. It's becoming 8, so the list is growing, the number is growing. I mean, if nothing changes, it'll be 10-0 by the end of this. It'll be 3 total series between Seoul Dynasty and the Philadelphia Fusion.
Can we just run that stat card every map? If Dynasty continue to win, can you just put that up at the start of every single map?
It just keeps telling up, you know, it just doesn't stop. No, I'm sure the Fusion will get one. I'm sure the Fusion will be able to, you know, play up to the Seoul Dynasty. I mean, we even saw the LA Valiant of all teams have an incredibly close game against the Seoul Dynasty, despite it being an 0-3. So let's see what happens here. Midtown has started. Stalker definitely over towards the Sojin, and I think he's probably been, in my opinion, the most exciting Sojin play that we've had so far in the region. I mean, Shy and Leave have looked great as well. Lip has had some brilliant moments, but Stalker has been so damn consistent on this hero.
That he has been. Okay, well, that's just dead. Creative finding a little pick off. In all likelihood, just going to be the charged up right click. Go ahead and finish the Tracer. That's going to put a halt to anything Fusion wanted to get done early days here on this attack.
You know what? It's crazy, but Seoul have really 2 good Zen players on this team, because we also got some Zen stats with Vindane from one of his previous games on that hero. He had fantastic stats to show, great performances. Creative is another player that can play this, so for the Seoul Dynasty, despite Vindane being a main support player, he's been picking up all these flex supports, including now this BAF as well. Really adds to the repertoire of Seoul Dynasty's embarrassment of riches, right? It's like every single player on every single role playing up to the maximum output that they can. Philadelphia Fusion, though, full control in this fire station. They have the upper floor. They're going to set up the dive now. Where can they go?
Looking for it. Oh, wow. Creative is going into the stratosphere, it would seem. Pile driver into the rail. Headshot. MN3 absolutely annihilates him. Been narrowly trying to stay alive, but obviously can't really heal himself outside of that shift, which had already been burned, so Zets is able to clean it up. That's the supports now out of the fight. Dynasty now needing to clutch up a bit, but it's just going to be on Stalker and Prob, who are worse for wear at the moment. Stalker will go down. It seems like the Fusion, after draining about half the time away, the initial time bank, go forward. Should be able to get this cap coming through. They start rolling up. There's going to be 1 tick. The recontest can come in from the side of the Dynasty.
Yeah, they are going to come back in here. Prophet's already been able to get the initial touch, but can they go further? They are going to have to give up 2 ticks for it. They're waiting for the tank. Here comes Smurf. And with that, should be able to get the final control here. Smurf is nearly on flux, by the way.
Prophet contest once more. The pulse pump goes out. It's going to be just eaten by the Immortality Field. Creative managing to find 1, but Prophet does get taken down. So it supports finding DPS, but now Smurf will die just moments before he was going to be able to get that flux online. Cleanup is there. It's going to be just over 4 minutes now here in the time bank for the Fusion on the second phase of the Streets attack.
That's the thing about retaking on a Sigma, right? It can be a little bit difficult. You can't just dive on top of the point, throw the shield out, hope for the best, try and do a little bit of damage, get that Flux in there, hope that Aim God does no Transcendence. He actually didn't at the time that the Flux would have been available, but now both those Zenyatta's are going to have that tool available for well, the counterplay, whatever that ends up being, specifically Aim God to counter the Flux from Smurf. But props to Fusion for playing that one patiently, right? You just talked about the fact that they spent nearly 2 minutes setting up for the dive, but one good dive will get them control the point, and they're able to make that into a cap and over towards B, where ultimates are coming online. They didn't really have to spend for A, did they? So, pretty good.
Not bad at all. Zest just trying to keep tabs there on Prophet. Pulse Bomb at the ready from Zest. See if you can find a prime target to open things up. Ulta bound for the side of the Dynasty. Fusion just one behind, but Vixen nearly with the window should be able to match rather quickly here. Here, window going to be opened up in Vinham, but Grado gets taken down. MN3 once more with a headshot rail. Gets rid of that enemy Zenyatta. Flux now going to be used, and they whip. So doesn't find
everything's
a damn person. And I was going to say, where's the transfer aim gone? Oh, he doesn't need to use it because Smurf got nobody.
Well, he couldn't even see anybody here. Everyone's just kind of split from the Fusion, right? You have Tracer, Ball, you have M3, the Soldier that can slide out. Do you have a kill on Zest over here? So Seoul Dynasty are going to force a reset. Maybe it's like Fusion are thinking about staying. Now their Stalkers actually use the ultimate. Fusion do back out a little bit. Aim God to respond to the trans.
They're trying to just pile in on top of him, but they cannot force him out. But they do deny him getting any value from that. Oh my goodness, what a lobbing from Prophet. There's a Hail Mary toss, manages to find the target, gets in on top of Aim God. Now he's looking for Fixa, who's really got nowhere to go. Prophet takes the health pack away from him just to really ensure victory. Somewhat predicts the recall, but Zest still able to make his way out of there. So really nicely one fight from the side of the Dynasty, being able to finally halt this cart.
Yeah, and you know, it starts from the kill to Zest, right? Then Prophet can go kind of buck wild to the back line after that. The Seoul Dynasty, up until that stage, was looking pretty dire. They had kind of whiffed the window. Doesn't really give them a lot of value because Philadelphia Fusion could just pull back. Grado was already dead anyway. Smurf missed the Flux entirely. Stalker, or not Stalker, M3 just slides on out. Stalker responds with the overdrive, and it's overclock rather. Seems like Fusion might get back up. They choose to stay on in. They're overstaying their welcome, but they still have 2 ultimates available. So we've seen Stalker use the overclock. Now it should be M3's time.
See if he could find value where Stalker was unable to. The window going to be coming through. Overclock still not popped. Everybody just kind of scattering away from this position. Wants to hold it. Nade goes down. Cut off that potential flank. Window used aggressively. Yeah, right in front of him. And they really want him out of this position. They will successfully shove him back. And now it's just going to be Zest keeping the cart contained, locked there at the base of the final ramp. They have not been able to advance it. It's down to 1 minute and 8 seconds here for the side of the Fusion. M3 still holding the ult. Flux coming through. This time does get the catch. M3 taken down before he gets slammed to the ground. That means that the Immortality Field cannot keep him protected. Good focus fire there. Good awareness from the side of the Dynasty as Smurf just continues to advance forward. And Aim God is out in no man's land. Stalker will clean up both of the supports. Velos ran out, not standing a chance. Will end up dying as Stalker comes up with, I believe, at least a 3K, maybe even 4 in that fight. It's just dying on the back end. Fusion now, final fight to try to get this push coming through.
All 5 went down there, Zest being the last member, so a decent amount of staggers. 30 seconds or more lost there by the Philadelphia Fusion. I mean, I kind of credit them and even complimented them for the patient play onto A for setting up a good dive, but now on B, they're being a little bit too patient. We still haven't seen this overclock. Smurf has a second Flux after whipping the first one. The second one does get M3 and he's instantly dead. So, Philadelphia Fusion, 4 ultimates available. They have to push this to the end now with what's online.
Pile driver used. Smurf knocked down to about half HP, but able to get sustained back up to full HP. Here's the overclock. Instant headshot on the Stalker. Massive pick off. He's looking for another target. Sees Vinham there for just a moment. Plays around the train car. Tries to send a shot over towards his little tippy toes. Won't manage to make it hit, but does turn back down into the tunnel. The underpass finds Prophet. The cart now finally advancing once more for the side of the Fusion with OT rolling. The Transcendence held on to Fixa, trying to get the next window online. Good little crouch there from M3. Dodges the accretion. Keeps himself protected. Immortality Field now coming down, but try to keep him safe. The Transcendence does get used. Immortality Field's gone from both sides. Smurf going to fall. Window has been used. Creative takes M3's head off, but is that going to be good enough? Because now it's just going to be Prophet Creative left to try to keep this thing contested. 2.6 meters left to go. Prophet will die, and that will be the card advancing forward. Another minute and a half added to the time bank. The Fusion, they win out in the final moments once more.
And they do wait till the final moments as well, right? Because 30 seconds remaining is when they finally get to go. MN3 gets that overclock in there, gets a couple of important frags. First one to Stalker is impeccable because Stalker has the overclock on the other side. So there's a world where Seoul Dynasty in that exact same fight could actually pop their own overclock, get a reasonable fight going their way as well between Stalker and MN3. Anything can happen in that sort of stage, but MN3 takes out what is, in my opinion, the most important hero coming through. So the most important player on the Seoul Dynasty side. About a minute 30 is what they started C with. Not too sure if they can still finish the map here because, well, time certainly works against him. And Smurf is on his third flux now, so he's been able to get these pretty quickly.
Rail at the ready, Accretion not going to connect, throws the nade to try to zone Vinheim out. It has worked a treat, Zest with a nice stick, managing to finish him off. Brigitte on the headshot on the creative, the support's now out of the fight for the side of the Dynasty. Prophet just holding on to a pulse bomb, but otherwise, that's their last bastion of hope right now. No other ultimates even close to being completed here for the side of the Dynasty as the card gets ready to round the final corner. He is completely locked in.
Oh, he's going to get taken down here. Yeah, he's on the high ground. He used the flux to go to the high ground there, tried to contest a little bit. Philadelphia Fusion have really pushed past that. So now you have to wait for this tank to come back for Seoul Dynasty. They run out of ultimates. The minefield could actually secure the cap for the Fusion now.
Yep, uses it right there. The main entryway to try to contest, trying to just lock them away. Vinheim swinging away, trying to clear out the mines as best as possible. Prophet going to be taken down. Stalker, however, manages to open things up as him and 3 will get sniped. Another rail at the ready. Takes a quick slide away, trying to keep himself protected and look for one of these supports. He spots him. The shot through Aim God. He's looking for the elimination. He goes on the offensive, but Aim God shuts him down. A boot to the face. Stalker absolutely knocked out, stone cold. OT started to bleed away, however, though, as Belos Ria was taken down, and they can't quite make it to the cart in time, even with the Transcendence rolling. A little bit too late of a reaction, but overall, Fusion managing to break through, and they can make it right towards the end, but they cannot complete Midtown, which means the Dynasty have a win condition if they can have a successful attack.
89 is really good, though, I think, for the Philly Fusion, considering they went to OT to even get B. Minimal time to play through for C. They outplayed the third Sigma Flux coming through from Smurf, and this time it's mostly because of the fact that they had some geometry helping them. Seoul Dynasty weren't able to kind of dive in to collect the extra damage as well. The players got lifted up by the Flux weren't exactly in the open right. They were around the corner. Smurf then being caught out by himself on the high ground, had no support around him. He's only a Sigma in that position where he really needs to be playing with his team, but going for a little bit of a mission doesn't work out for him. Ends up being a pretty sad death, but being able to respawn to the Doom helps him secure that retake for the final defense pretty nicely. And we're talking about the mines as well. That could have been really good. It was reasonable, but Stalker pops down a disruptor shot, and that is going to delete most of the mines as well from the damage. So Seoul Dynasty come through in the final moments there to secure themselves, but considering again the time that Fusion had, it's a lot of meters gained, so I think you should be reasonably happy with that despite how poor B actually looked.
Well, now change up on the looks here as Belos Ria shifts over to the Rhine, looking for that rush comp here. Zest on the May. See if Dynasty swap once they see what the comp is going to be looking like.
This is the comp that gave us our first Midtown incident from Fusion, I believe. Or was it Fury? No, this will be the second time. Fusion had Fury doing the whip grab the first time, and then there was the Belos Ria Ryan rush comp that didn't quite work out for the Fusion, but maybe defensively it can't work out for them. You talk about the Dynasty, will they change? Here we go, yes. Prophet's already moved over. Yeah, here we go, Smurf will go Ryan here as well.
Okay.
Square up. Honorable Ryan duel.
You'd love to see it. Fairly even matchup. Biggest difference just going to be Stalker sticking through with that Sojourn. Not moving over to the Ash. So as far as range is concerned,
you can farm your railgun. You can farm your railgun off that Rhine shield very effectively. So that's a good choice.
Ooh, wall coming up, cutting off a couple people there. Kind of scattering the Dynasty. Mortality field not in position to try to save Prophet. Maybe the ice block is on cooldown, or just didn't get the pop at a time. Either way, that is Belos Ria going absolutely massive. Fire strike through, clips on the 2. The Shadow now just 33% off. Fusion win the first fight. Dynasty have to go again.
And it's a massive advantage as well. Look at the ultimates on key members like Belos Ria 70 to 28 on Smurf. Zest on 44 to Prophet 16, as Prophet was the first one dead as well. Both of our bat players will be reasonably on par, with Aim God being about 10-ish% ahead. But very important in this mirror matchup to be the team that wins the initial neutral, because being able to snowball ultimates is a make or break in this mirror.
Once more of the wall, kind of segregating the members of the Dynasty. Counter wall comes up from Prophet just to try to buy themselves some space as MN3 staring down the street is looking for a target. Immortality Field cleaned up, window out first here from Aim God, now going to be matched by Creative, and these are not very far apart. Basically, trench warfare coming through, Beltry, Shatter! The fire strike from Smurf takes him down before the Shatter can hit. He thought he had his window of opportunity, but he was just way too low. They cannot keep him alive, and in one fell swoop, that is going to be the lockdown coming through on the point for the side of the Dynasty. A massive bump up, 2.5 minutes getting ready to be added to the time bank.
And that's the sort of situation where you have to think, is fix it? Do I use the sound barrier or not? The lamp is already gone. Aim God's already used his most important tool to keep Bellasria alive, so the only thing left to do is, if Bellasria gets low, you're pretty much forced to use the sound barrier, and then you can win the fight with the Blizzard on top of that. You know you're ahead in both sound barrier and Blizzard because you won that initial fight. The only other people that could be kind of catching up to you is maybe Smurf getting a bit of damage on the Rhine, but Bellasria dying their mid-shatter was everything for the Philadelphia losing fight for Seoul Dynasty being able to cap. So let's see how B goes now.
Bit of a catastrophe there. Slate wiped clean as far as the Rhine ults are concerned. Benham taken down. Great opening kill from MN3. Once more the wall kind of locked him in. The Blizzard rolling as well, so as soon as Prophet comes out of that ice block, he is going to be in a rough spot. Completely slowed up. No peel, no support whatsoever available. Fusion will win the fight and halt the card off the rip.
Seoul Dynasty will retain ultimates here, though. They didn't really pop anything for that. Vindame dying early is maybe even a bit of a boon. It means that they don't have to pop the sound barrier to try and save themselves from the Blizzard. And a lot of this mirror matchup also comes down to the economic exchange, right? You're allowed to sack fights to get an ult advantage that you can then try and snowball some fights with. So Seoul Dynasty, it's their turn to set up a Blizzard now.
Okay, overclock at the ready. Sound barrier out from Vixa. Stalker zoned. Blizzard going to be rolling. Freezes the bomb. Freezes Zest. Immortality Field comes in late to try to keep him alive, and so far it has worked a treat. Wall up, just trying to cut off Bellasria, then either sightlines away from the supports, but it's going to be Prophet who ends up falling. Now Vinham taken down. Window used as well from Creative, but it's finding no value. Great Immortality Field timing at least to try to keep him alive, but it's just way too many members of Fusion encroaching around Smurf's position. They clean him up, and once more the fight is won here for the side of the Fusion.
Yeah, that might be the critical fight win for Fusion now, because they win against Dynasty when it's their turn to use ultimates and expend. Sound barrier is pretty reasonable, buys some time, but the most important thing that I saw there was Zest popping up the Mabel, which blocks out so much damage so they couldn't follow up on that Blizzard. Otherwise, a Blizzard probably would have been enough. Smurf still has Shatter here, but Bellasria is caught up, so this is going to come down to who blocks what with what shield available.
So here goes the Fire Strike, just going right over Bellasria's head. Shatters at the ready. The grand duel has begun. Oh, he tries to fake it. Doesn't manage to get the connection that he's looking for, but Pixel gets on top of Prophet and somehow wins out that fight. Now Vinham taken down once more. I feel like I'm having deja vu with these eliminations coming through. The Shatter going to be dropped. Smurf trying to turn it. Stalker's there. He plays off the back of it beautifully. Finds 4 kills in the fight. And now the cart can start moving. What a turnaround here as he looks for this last kill, and Stalker will get it. The ace at the end. Off the back of the Shatter. What a play. What a combo.
And that's what I'm talking about, right? The Shatter is everything, and a read coming through from the Seoul Dynasty. Smurf going for heroics here. That's a high-risk, high-reward play, because if it blows up in your face, if Smurf doesn't land the Shatter, if he dies, like Bellasria died with the Shatter, then it could have been over. Seoul Dynasty would have been a really sore spot. They're down one of their most important members now, Stalker. Down Creative as well.
Freeze is coming through, but as soon as they come right back out of the spawn room, regroup as 5. The kills are there for the Fusion. Now it's going to be a minute remaining here for the Dynasty, who seemingly have to replicate what the Fusion were able to do and potentially close out this street space with an overtime push.
And they need to snowball here somehow as well, which is difficult to do considering Fusion have a lot of ultimates. This is potentially, you know, a great read from the Fusion to start out on the Rhine, bait Seoul Dynasty into the Rhine play, where Fusion, honestly, their brawl has been pretty solid, especially in the neutrals. Okay, Smurf has outplayed Bellasria, but the rest of the Fusion, in terms of finding opening picks, getting greater damage, wall placements by Zest and everything, they win in all other areas aside from the actual write-up.
Wall, just getting them escorted out here onto the high ground. The drop down comes through from the Fusion. They pull back. 4, nearly 5 ults at the ready as Fixa gets closer and closer to that sound barrier. Charge for charge, the Rhines hit the floor. The Blizzard going to be used by Prophet and Zest, completely encompassing the map right now. Looking for those freezes. The cart Needs to be touched. The contest is there. They will be able to force out the OT, but it's going to be Creative who goes down first. Fixa, however, traded out the Shatter. Dropped in. Gets the stun out onto Vinheim, onto Smurf.
Smurf has Shatter.
He's shielding, trying to get
He's
them
dead.
alive. And Smurf, he's going to die. He's not going to be able to use the Shatter. Imgod cleans up 3 kills. He's doing his best shoe impersonation right now, and it looks absolutely spot on. Creative will not be able to get back in time. The OT will bleed away, and the Fusion not going to be going down without a fight. Not going to have yet another Midtown incident. And that will be them breaking the map loss streak and tying things up 1-1.
It seems like the Midtown incident goes the other way. This time it's the Seoul Midtown incident, right? They have a pretty reasonable go on their own defense. Well, I say reasonable. It did end up going quite a fair distance. You have to imagine a world where maybe Seoul Dynasty could have held B. Would that have made a difference? So, technically speaking, once we saw the Rhine duels come out and the Brawl matchup come out, Fusion held B to the point where Seoul Dynasty weren't in a position to cap anyway. So Fusion, I think both on attack and defense, won that pretty resoundingly. But again, going back to the kind of narrative of, okay, they want to play this rush, Seoul Dynasty want to square up, but the Philadelphia Fusion, again, outside of Bellisria and Smurf, where I do think Smurf outplayed Bellisria, the other 4 members were just that much better in playing the overall Brawl composition against the other 4 members of the Seoul Dynasty. Fixa coming up with first bloods, like how is he doing a little Lucio? All of these small differences really come out ahead, even if Bellisria is losing to Smurf.
Yeah, I mean, you feel like Fixa being able to take down Prophet while he's on the Mei should basically be nigh impossible for a Lucio to pull off, but he did it on the regular. Absolutely great play here from the side of the Fusion to keep things tied up. We said that they were looking competitive in the first map. That carries forward. Now they have some wind in their sails, but you can see Fit's going to be rejoining right now. Still wide smiles from Smurf, from this team, so it doesn't seem like they're going to be overly concerned. We'll see what happens, though, as we get ready to move into Circuit Royale for our escort map. See who is going to be moving up to match point. Don't go anywhere. And we are back, and oh boy, it's our favorite thing to say as commentators. We have a series on our hands, tied up 1-1. The rush from Fusion there on the defense coming to fruition, playing out beautifully as they go ahead and get the win on Midtown. Now we look over to Circuit Royale to see who's going to be able to move things up to match point. Fusion, is it finally time? They've broken the map loss streak. Can they break the match loss streak versus the Dynasty here this season?
Yeah, that was impressive. I'm really impressed with the way that Fusion came through on that on the Midtown map. But as we move through to Circuit Royale, we're going to see some substitutions come on in. It's a very sniper-heavy map, so Fitz is going to come back in to play the Widowmaker. Fury coming in for Bellisria to play the Sigma as well. Smurf obviously going to be matching that Sigma on the other side, and like for this one, should be expecting Carpe as well to come in for Zest. So double snipers online, MN3 and Carpe as teased in our opening hype video. Carpe and Prophet squaring up. Yeah, they'll certainly be doing plenty of that. But some work, I think, required from the Seoul Dynasty on their Brawl Mirror against Smurf. I have no doubt about. He is a two-time Overwatch League champion. He won during the GOATS era as well, so he's locked up. I'm confident he knows what he's doing, but looking at the rest of Seoul Dynasty, I don't know if Stalker was prepared to play in that composition. I mean, to be fair, a lot of the NA teams, when they are playing the Brawl composition, they're kind of just sticking one of their players on the Sojin anyway, as expected. But to really win that matchup, I don't know if there could have been a Symmetra swap coming through as well that could have really helped them. Some other picks that could have helped them out as well. For Seoul Dynasty, Prophet didn't look nearly as good as Zest on the Mei, so, you know, I had some criticism about Prophet's Mei last year as well. Seems like it's just not one of the heroes that Seoul Dynasty, and not one of the compositions that Seoul Dynasty have had a ton of practice on outside of the Smurf Ryan itself. So some work still needed there, but Fusion, good stuff on the Ryan. And honestly, well, I was going to say they could still bring out the Ryan in future maps. This is a map that Ryan is an okay hero on, but I think the meta is definitely more geared towards playing the Sigma Shield plus double flex support plus double sniper kind of gameplay that we're about to see.
Well, as aforementioned, Carpet back through. He'll be picking up the Sojourn. MN3 on the Widowmaker. Expecting to see that end up getting mirrored here from the Dynasty. Mirrored is in, you know, the compositions, not the player who had a rough go of it on the Genji earlier. No Genjis.
Did he play it on this map?
Yes.
Okay.
And he got
no
farmed.
Jinmu level heroics then. Yeah, okay. Well, to be fair to them, it's not a very easy
it.
hero to play on this map. Unless you're Jinmu, of course, who somehow just makes it work. He, of course, likes to do the, what is, for him, a very legal maneuver to go over the wall. It's illegal if you place a teleporter and Mei wall up there, but for a Genji, you just go over it normally. That's a different story, and so it's a different game, an old game, though. One I'm sure that Fusion would like to forget, because that was also Chengdu versus Fusion. Now, though, Prophet Hanzo, Carpe coming through onto the Sojin. We actually saw some of this yesterday between, I forget now which two teams played this exact map, but it was, you know, the double Widowmaker versus a Hanzo and a Sojin. And so if you want a shield break, Prophet's on the right here, but Carpe can charge rails quite easily off the shields.
And he can. Prophet can knock him down pretty quickly as well with the Storm Arrows. So for now, first corner widely going to be conceded from the side of the Fusion. This is where they really want to stop up the advance, and what a great shot. Prophet already tagged down low, didn't need to hit him in the head. MN3 finding the opening kill is Fitz will answer back. Good little headshot from him, mid-grapple as well. And that added pickoff coming through, that does allow for Smurf to actually exit and stay alive, wrapping back around the corner. So creative, profiting quite a bit from that. Just going to be soaking up all that healing to try to get the Transcendence ready to go.
And Prophet is back now as well, whereas we're still kind of waiting for MN3, who should be making some headway back over towards this A point. And Fitz bailing out Smurf, like I sort of mentioned there. Smurf could have actually died. The lamp already came on through to save them. Low HP. The Fusion couldn't push in without their fifth member. Here comes that window as well. Fury being bailed out by his own Immortality Field. Flux at the ready.
Oh, Flux for Flux. You know, one-person catch for a two-person catch. They smack back down to the ground, but it's going to be Fury and now Smurf who gets traded. So, a 1-for-1 as the front line does end up falling. Good recon arrow here, spotting them around the corner, and Prophet, oh, he wants to try to get the timing. Narrowly misses it. Now they know that he's playing right up close and personal. Carpe challenging there for just a moment. Storm Arrow just trying to catch him off guard.
Smurf is closer, so he should be able to return to the point ever so slightly quicker. Fury It's going to have to jump down from the top. Okay, they'll actually manage to get there at reasonably around the same time as, you know, with the payload pushed up far enough. I guess that's okay for Fury. So no team ends up getting too much of an advantage, even though, you know, I think if the payload was further back, then certainly Smurf will get there quicker. So Infrasight for Infrasight here. Bigger difference maker could actually be the Dragon Strike. That will force Fusion off the payload, and that could be a cap. Fitz is dead. Wait a minute, what?
2 great shots from MN3. He gets a third. He's looking for some more. Immortality Field buys a little bit of time, but what an absolute incredible volley from MN3, shutting them down one after the other.
I want you to say headshot after headshot after headshot.
After headshot. I've had to watch that clip so many times when reviewing the highlights, so
I was trying to cosplay Josh there. I wanted you to cosplay. Anyway, Carpe down a Prophet. That was great, though. That was
unbelievable.
An incredibly sexy play. That gets me going for sure. Good job, Emmett.
Oh,
well done.
Yeah, that's one way to get the blood flowing, get yourself jazzed up. Incredible shots from him. Now 45 seconds remaining on this push, just in front of point A, but haven't really been able to breach this position. Prophet down to 8 HP. He got dead though. Doesn't use the Transcendent to try to stay alive. Fitz with the pop shot will find MN3, putting his reign of terror to an end. The cleanup comes through, and that will be the cap. 3 minutes now in the time bank for the Dynasty to try to make it through to checkpoint B. A little bit of a split spawn here from Aim God. They're well aware of this, is why they're going on the hunt, trying to find the enemies Zenyatta.
Oh, they see him. Yeah, they see him for sure. This is going to be a kill. Poor Aim God doesn't know what's about to hit him. He's going to transfer it. Can he make it out, though? This could be very well a waste of trans. Gets slightly body block. He values staying alive here over keeping the trans. So, you know, you're about to ask the question, is it worth it?
Yeah. Maybe now it is, because he does take down Smurf. I was going to say, they need to try to have something to counteract the flux. Because the Immortality Field can be cleared, but they do get that elimination. But Fitz and Prophet take down, they take down the enemy DPS. So in the end, it's a massive trade up here for the side of the Dynasty.
I'm going to be real. If Aim God just dies and respawns, they can still get the same final recontest they're about to get here now. What ends up being a trance is kind of still a lost fight. Maybe I'm being a little revisionist about it because it was a 2-for-1 trade. Credit to Fitz for finding one of those kills. Flux is coming on through now, and this is where, you know, when Smurf does it, you kind of wish that Aim God had something for it.
Creative dead. Another great headshot there from MN3 as the overclock is rolling. He's trying to flush Smurf out of this position, but Prophet combos in with the left click out from Smurf. They find the elimination, taking down Carpe. Flux gets Fitz. Double pickup, drops him down. Immortality Field is there. Perfectly timed by Fixa. Keeps them alive. The support duo still in the fight. Smurf chunked out, dead. Prophet eliminated. A little pop shot. He's looking for Venheim. He goes up into the sky, but Aim God is there to go ahead and finish off the enemy Baptiste. Now a minute and 25 seconds remaining for the Dynasty.
Yeah, well, this feels a lot better now for the Fusion as they've been able to stabilize quite comfortably on the final approach on the B cap itself. MN3 is playing wonderfully on this Widowmaker. It really has been quite something to behold so far. The headshot straight away onto Smurf when his kinetic grasp, kind of goes away there, just puts him into the grave. He might not get the final blow, but his damage is definitely being felt. Definitely stat-wise as well, outperforming Fitz by quite a fair margin.
Recon arrow flying forward. Not going to be locating too much, but Prophet does end up getting a headshot on the Carpe all the same. Yeah, a big pickoff now. They look for a little bit more. Smurf at the front lines, healing coming through. Venheim just keeping him topped up as best as humanly possible. And Fitz will find an opening kill. That's going to be now the Immortality Field taken out of the fight. Aim God Transcendence nearly online. MN3 buys a little bit more space for them as the Widow falls, and Aim God being forced back. Chunked down to half HP. MN3 gets rid of the Immortality Field, and they say, okay, pull the trigger. The ult comes out, but Prophet gets rid of the enemy Widow once more. Carpe sliding forward. The Dragon Strike now going to go crashing through, cutting off any reinforcements. So the cart does make it into the checkpoint. With a couple melee hits, 2 more kills come in. The Dynasty get another minute and a half added to the time bank just moments before they were going to hit OT.
Yeah, Prophet getting the final kill to Carpe there as well. There you go. That's the theme coming on through. The Prophet versus Carpe matchup that was teased up. And Old Reliable is the horse that Seoul Dynasty will be riding through on towards that B capture point as well. Prophet getting the initial pick on the Carpe via the arrows, enabling the 5v4. Fitz then also getting one of the supports down, turning to a 5 vs 3. Puts a lot of pressure on the Fusion, who unfortunately could not respond. So with just under a minute 30 remaining here for the Seoul Dynasty, still make a reasonable amount of distance. Can they cap, though, will be a bigger question. They have a lot of ultimates to play through, but if they lose even one fight here, their cap is probably done. entire attack.
Narrow miss on that accretion. Window going to be used. MN3 in the meantime does find that kill on a profit, but it will be traded quickly thereafter as Vinheim finishes off the immortality field, gets fixed, and the Flux is good to go. It's the cleanup. Fury gone. The cart starting to be advanced once more here for the side of the Dynasty as they hit 40 seconds remaining. Smurf just continuing to push forward. The accretion does get the stun. Don't have anybody to play off the back of it though, so they cannot get rid of that Widow.
MGOT is currently stuck in spawn. It depends on whether Seoul Dynasty want to push this a little bit further or not.
They're backing off.
Be careful though, because MN3 has the damage, he has the angles to work through. Like I said, they backed off already. Seoul Dynasty now still have about 2 to 3 ultimates coming online. They desperately need the Dragon Strike, but they can't survive. MN3 is far too sharp today.
Absolutely just domes Smurf.
Smurf has to come back on Doom.
Coming through is Fury now just duking it out. He's got everybody locked in a room. The Transcendence has to be used by Creative. The cart right now rolling backward. The touch is there to force out the OT. Flux now going to be used. Picks him up, drops him back down. The immortality field cleared out. Someone needs a touch. It's going to be Smurf. He does arrive in time, but quickly thereafter does fall. Nice overclock from Carpe. Cleans up the final kills in the fight. And once more, looking a bit like Midtown, the cart will get just to the end, but it cannot get over that finish line.
Well, that being said, though, I mean, Seoul Dynasty didn't have a lot of time to work through on C, so that's a good amount of distance. And like you said, very reminiscent of Midtown, but that ended up working into Fusion's favor. And I'm going to say here that for Seoul, having basically only OT time to work with for C to get it to the end, pretty impressive. They won a very nice fight during the near the pool area. Flux for Flux, kind of, well, window for window, certainly coming on through. And I believe it was even a amplified accretion. I mean, that's a rock that would definitely hurt when it flies into your face. So Seoul Dynasty did a good job of winning an important fight to get towards the end, but camping is a different story. You need to be able to win a secondary fight. And as I mentioned, MN3, especially with that Infrasight, his damage has been unreal. His final blows, I mean, let's talk about it here. 12 final blows out of a total of 21 final blows for the Philadelphia Fusion, so already deadlifting. That is, by the way, compared to a Fitz final blows of 4, so he's got 4 times the amount of final blows as Fitz so far, and about 2,300 more damage done than Fitz as well.
That's pretty one-sided, as all things go. Yeah, MN3, just looking impeccable at the moment.
Dio wasn't kidding. Dio wasn't kidding when he said that MN3 was the best Widow. He really just, he's like, you know what, it's MN3.
It's certainly being proven right now. Lip getting back into form, though, maybe able to give him a little bit of a run for his money. We'll have to just wait and see, though. MN3 trying to see if that pop shot's going to be coming through from Fitz. He sat way back for a shot of his own. Up over the top, everybody rotating out. The barrier's there to keep him protected.
You have a very defensive kind of positioning here for Seoul. I mean, as you'd expect, but they are just going to play this first corner. You know, most teams aren't going to be baited into playing that initial high ground archway anymore. More of a quick play kind of thing coming on through. So both these corners are the ideal defensive positions. As Prophet knows he was under 5 from the Widowmaker there, so he's able to just hide behind the statue. And Seoul Dynasty, so far looking okay in this position. We're waiting for first picks though, so one of the 2 Widowmakers, I believe, should be able to start us off. Or Baby Prophet.
Trying to flush him out behind the statue. He's actually just going to be eating some of that damage there from the nade, but MN3 gets him in the head, opening things once more. Fitz answering back in kind, though. Finds that 5th final blow, as you were mentioning before. It's going to be Carpe taken out. MN3 again. He's got his carry pants on this map, it would seem. He gets Fitz. It's another fantastic shot. He's looking for more. The barrier going to be broken down. Immortality field used. The damage is being pummeled into them. Fixer will find 2 to match, and it is such a quick push as MN3 is absolutely destroying them.
Well, I told you, right? He has 4 times the amount of kills as Fitz, so Fitz gets 1. And then MN3's like, I'm going to get like 4. See how that goes. So Fitz will take him down. He's at least going to get 1 back in terms of that Widow duel, but this is, outside of that 1 death, a monumental Widowmaker death.
I think he's only killed him twice. He killed him once on the initial attack, and then here. It's just wonderful from MN3. Fitz expecting this jump shot to be coming through, but there it is. Doesn't get him in the head, however. He tags him in the chest. MN3 able to stay alive. Fixer just now respawning. Grant's going to be used. Fury alive here on the cart. Turn around there, Fortune's Fury. Does hold on to it, Smurf. Not that far away. Just get tagged down to about half HP.
There's no trance, remember, so Smurf can get this for free as long as he doesn't get rocked mid-cast or, you know, unless M3 just kills him. Should be pretty clean. Yeah, Fury goes first.
Flux is there. Immortality Field used on Prophet. The pickup comes through. Finds Fixa, drops him down. Immortality Field used. So Flux from either side. Neither finding any eliminations. Creative, the Transcendence nearly online. Fitz eliminated. Carpe with a great headshot. Open things up. They're trying to shove them back, however, as the window does come through. That will hold them at bay, at least for the moment, but they're just going to be more than willing to wait this out. The time bank is still so massive for the side of the Fusion, so they can play this out patiently.
Okay,
now
Dragon.
the answering window comes in. The overclock nearly ready. Dragon strike once more to try to buy some space. Splits it apart. A couple members on the opposite side of the teams, and the rail comes
nice.
in. Finhaim tagged low. The finish is there from Carpe. Looks for another target. Gets under fire, falls low, but helps take down Smurf, helps take down Prophet. Carpe just continuing to play the supporting role, picking up these assists. God will find the last two in the fight, and it is 4 minutes and 45 here for the Fusion. An absolutely monstrous time bank. You gave credit for how far the Dynasty went with the little time that they did have. There's so much time here for the Fusion to play around with.
Yeah, it's insane. So, you know, they're going to get a pretty good time bank here. Well, actually, it won't matter because if they cap, they win, right? So forget about time bank. They do have to push to the end. That is one thing. I was going to mention for Carpe there as well. Took him, you know, just over half the map to get warmed up, but his presence is now being felt. The overclock comes on through. It's an initial pick off the rail here as well. Here we go, meeting on the outskirts of the map. Very dangerous on this coast side. But pool control is paramount for both the defensive and attacking teams. One player from the Seoul Dynasty is still pushing. I think that might be MN3 it is, yeah. Somebody has to remain pushing at all times as possible.
He's inching it forward as much as possible, and they've already closed out half of the distance here because of it, because of this coast side contest. Everybody just chilling by the pool. The race car is making it closer and closer to the finish line.
The pool is like 2 inches deep, by the way, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, it's just one of those ankle pools that rich people like to hang out in for whatever reason. I'm too wealthy to get my torso wet, so I'll just dip my feet. Smurf under some pressure, dodges out of the accretion. Yep, barrier coming through once more. Does he try to successfully back away?
Okay, Furious Flux.
He's going to use it too. He's looking for a target. Okay, finally.
Oh, that'll be an easy pickup, surely.
The accretion not going to connect. Fitz does manage to find him. God, that's going to be the Transcendence out of the fight for the extended fray, but Creative under pressure. Tries to boot the Sigma out of there, but he's just not going to be able to make it happen. Fury, no barrier at the ready. Can't get it in time. Finhaim will finish him off. The front line broken down. Fitz,
that's
quick
good.
peek. Finds Carpe. That's going to be space bought now for the Dynasty. Just under 3 minutes remaining for the Fusion.
Woo! Oh, an exit frag as well. Okay, here we go. Fitz is starting to warm up a little bit now. It is while Philadelphia Fusion are exiting, but he'll get a couple of frags. It's good staggers nonetheless, if nothing else. So I actually got to mention for the Philly Fusion, had, you know, maybe Carpe still been alive there, Aim God still has trance, maybe they can think about playing that with the tempo trance advantage, but, you know, they'll play the patient game again. No need to rush this one. Even if it takes until the OT, if you win the map, if you push to the end, it's all worth it. So holding the trance to counter up Smurf's Flux, which is upcoming now, got to be pretty important. Window is available. Prophet should just counter that with Dragon's Strike. No, he's going to go early. Dragon's already out. That, I don't know if I like that Dragon.
Yeah, didn't really do too much for him. They used it early. See if he's going to be able to build another one, but now Fitz going to be taken down. Carpe once more, finding an opening kill. The overclock going to be popped. He's looking for a target. Sees Prophet. Throws the nade. Make sure that left side flank is going to be covered, but actually the nade went a little bit too deep. Finhaim, however, still going to fall. The Transcendence comes in a little bit late there from Creative, just keeping the rest of the squad alive as best as possible. Fitz rejoining, but Smurf taken down. Prophet going lower and lower. The deflect from him.
Should be
finds Fitz. The cleanup is there, and they have the push. The Fusion, they take the lead. 2 maps in a row now, Midtown into Circuit Royale. They're just 1 away from finally besting the Seoul Dynasty here in the 2022 season.
I mean, such a great performance from the Philadelphia Fusion. First of all, we
From
have the
MN3.
Midtown map coming on through. Then we look to, but even then, I mean, we look at Philadelphia Fusion towards the end there. You know, Carpe, who was mostly quiet, started to pipe up a little bit on that Sojourn, especially when MN3 swaps over towards the Genji instead. You're probably wondering, okay, why would he swap from the Widow to the Genji? Well, for the final point, there's very little to push left. You want to have some high ground, low ground, some dive capability as well. Zest is not here, so MN3 will take up those reins instead. And they just kind of want to shove the payload in and want to make a sight lines attacking as well, as starts to get a little bit poor for MN3, so he'll make the swap over. But yeah, Fury as well coming through big time, as you know, he had a lot of work to do in those final fights and did plenty of it. Philadelphia Fusion, I think MN3 talk of the town for that particular map for sure, but the rest of the team coming up big to make sure they finish.
Yeah, I mean, once more, I'm enjoying the decision to swap there from MN3. It's, I believe, the second time that he showed us now the Genji coming through in these clutch moments, right when the card on an escort map needs to get across the finish line when they are running out of time. The fights are continuing to be close, and once more, he comes up with kills and helps them finish the map. Beautifully done from the Fusion, the Dynasty. We haven't seen them get pushed this hard since the lower bracket final versus the Shanghai Dragons. The Fusion now threatening the series win. Match point is theirs, and if they can close out New Queen Street, they will be victorious. We'll see what happens, see whether or not the Dynasty are going to be able to answer back and take this into a map 5 when we return from the break. Don't go anywhere. And we are back and going into what could very well be the final map of this series, unless Dynasty have something to say about it. They need to get a win now as we go into our push map, New Queen Street, if they want to extend this into a 5-map series and walk away victorious, maintain their win record here in 2022 versus the Fusion. Otherwise, Fusion are looking absolutely out of control right now. MN3 is completely unhinged. He's off the chain. He's dominating with the Widowmaker. Changing things up, though, going to New Queen Street. Likely going to be seeing him go back over to the Ash, where he still has found an immense amount of value on that pickup. So we'll see what the Dynasty can do to deal with it.
I bet that first sentence for you was a little bit weird to say. Like, oh yeah, the Seoul Dynasty, let's see if they can bounce back here.
Yup.
On the ropes here, a little old Seoul Dynasty. Oh, what are they going to do? They have now dropped 2 maps to the Philadelphia Fusion. I don't think it's out of this world. I think most people would have said that Seoul Dynasty looked like the stronger team coming into this matchup. They've been flawless throughout the entire midseason qualifiers. They've been 5-0, looking for the 6-0 perfect scoreline here, perfect stage here going to the actual tournament itself. The Fusion are putting up more than a fight. We'll talk about the substitutions just a hot second here. Concerning Seoul, though, my goodness. Dropping 2 maps already. This is looking super competitive. I think this is more speaking to the strengths of Fusion than anything else, because a lot of, maybe some pundits out there will look at this and say, oh man, what's happening to Seoul? Are they worse now? Did they, are they playing worse than they normally would? I think Seoul is still good. It's just that Fusion have really come out firing on multiple cylinders, and we saw that throughout the Ryan Brawl composition. That was something that Seoul were not prepared for. So shout outs to Jin on, from the coaching staff for Fusion setting that play up. But then you have one of the hardest carries from a Widowmaker that I've visto. It really just reminds me of like Arns from 2020. I'm sure Smurf.
Arns, Pine from 2018.
He would have had, but back then it was Arns on his team. He wasn't playing against him, so it's a different story indeed. Fusion, though, can they clean this up, or are we going to 5?
We shall see. Fitz back in, over to the Ash, Prophet back onto the Tracer. So just going to be nearly mirrored matchups, the only difference being Bellisria on the Bull, Smurf back onto the Doomfist.
We expected the Bull to maybe come back here as well. Bellisria, this is his map. Not going to be playing much Sigma here. Fitz taking a bunch of damage straight up.
And he's dead. They get the alley-oop. MN3 able to find the head. Let's take him out. Dynamite not at the ready, otherwise he's trying to flush these guys out for the back of the...
Dude. It's like we never left Circuit Royale. We're still there. We're still on Circuit Royale. We haven't left.
This man is absolutely insane today. What a god screener is going on? What did they feed him today? Is this the work of the cheesesteaks? I know they took him to the cheesesteak place recently. Is this the secret formula?
Oh my god, take him back! Send them straight back to the cheesesteak place that you actually introduced him. So well done, Akil. This is you. You enabled MN3 to finally eat good, and now he's fragging harder than he's ever fragged in his life.
He's got so many carbs and calories in his body. He's completely
energized. It doesn't end.
And he's got Smurf as well. The Dynamite for the finisher, and the push continues with relative ease. They're looking for the dive into the back line, but you can see Fixa just sat there, pocketing him. And why would you do anything else if you are a support on the Fusion right now? MN3, he is your golden goose. You keep this man alive, or you suffer the consequences.
I mean, the Fusion, if they are about to win a series off a single man alone, that's going to be wild. We'll see if Seoul Dynasty can do anything about this situation. They would love to die on M, but the damage up from MN3 certainly being felt across the board. Bob will be coming online in short manner. Nano's available. Got to be putting that one to somebody like Smurf to give him to the back line.
Bot halted up once more. There's the Nano. Gets the dive in nicely onto Fixa. Looks for Aim God, but get tagged up a bit. Now has a little bit more leeway to work with as MN3 does fall. Fitz opening things up. Nice kill for him, and Zest gone as well. So some additional staggers found here for the side of the Dynasty. They can finally get their own push underway. 46 meters, the distance to beat so far.
It's a good recovery there from Seoul Dynasty, and definitely in terms of Fitz as well. Making sure that he's still active, getting some frags in. This is where you can start forcing ultimates out of the Philadelphia Fusion here, as they'll be more than likely using something like a Bob to make sure the payload doesn't go over. Not quite close enough for a capture yet. There's still plenty of opportunity for Philly to set up a fight, and they can even look for flanks here if they want.
Pulse bombs at the ready. Prophet throws it, not going to find the kills. That's kind of just hopping over top of it there. As Fitz is dead again, MN3 getting the quick snap. Pushes for Flame, goes into the unscoped kill shot. Unbelievable tech from him. He's just playing this to a T. The dash forward. I thought he was actually just going to dome Profit right there for a moment, but
yeah, I thought as well.
He scopes it, unscopes, kills him, all the same.
This is why we're playing Ashe. Sojin can't do this. You cannot do this on Sojin. That's why everyone's playing Ashe. I mean, the consistency of damage. Sure, you're not going to one-shot everybody every single time, but the amount of damage you can do on those scoped-in shots is unreal if you can actually land a lot of them. And MN3 is landing more than a lot of them. Here comes that Bob finally. It's going to be matched by Fitz.
The dive in from Smurf instantly takes his exit. The Bob going to be cleared up, taken away from Fitz, who has already been felled. Smurf gone as well. Tame will put an end to it for just a moment. Gets an elimination, but yeah, the cap is there. The checkpoint achieved. And given the staggers, they don't have to pull away from this position. Dude, they can continue to play around the
Look at the swaps. Look at the swaps. Seoul is just like, you know what, the Doom isn't working. Fitz is like, I can't do this, guys. MN3's too good today. Let me go over towards a Sombra. At this rate, if you're playing a Sombra, I don't want to count it out, but I've still yet to really see Sombra have maximum value versus anything. This is, to me, kind of like just waving the white flag here.
It's certainly starting to feel that way. Profit going lower and lower. Pulse bomb out for the chest.
That's an insane
enemy Tracer. Absolutely incredible. I mean, the hack here, I mean, it's truly feels like desperation now with Fitz going back over to the Sombra. Don't often see this when they are, you know, unless they're not in an advantageous position,
so
which they certainly are not.
So many things I would rather see than the Sombra right now. I think it seems like a lack of confidence. Like, okay, MN3 is just deafening me extremely hard on the Ashe and water and just about everything at this stage. They killed MN3 in the prior fight, which gives Seoul Dynasty the opportunity to push backwards, but they're not really able to get that much control. And, I mean, what can you do as Fitstone? You die. Profit gets a nano. Okay, let's go, Profit.
Okay, Profit does get the pulse bomb, and it's a key target. Finds MN3. Can't keep him alive through that one. Goes down to the bot again. It's just being locked on this side of the map. Belosria trying to get healed up, but Orb of Harmony not going to be doing nearly enough to keep him alive, so Profit will find that elimination of the end. He's looking for Fixa. Pops the recall, keeps himself safe, but as he rounds the corner, MN3 takes his head off. He's not playing Widow. He doesn't have Infraset anymore, but he's still managing to just get these predictive hits. And instantly, the support dead off the backside. Fusion are just winning out in every metric right now.
MN3 has single-handedly more final blows than the entire Seoul Dynasty, 9-8. This guy really is wrecking face on an unbelievable level. And he is making a statement to his haters, because there are people that say, it's like, oh, MN3, overrated, not very good, but he's been unreal. Okay, he's probably going to die here, but they got the trance, like you said.
Yep, to get the transcendence, they still maintain the lead. The bot just now getting ready to be shipped back across the opposite side of the map. Profit inching that forward there for just a moment, turns the sights over to Aim God. Fitz is there. Will manage to find the elimination at the end of it. Belosria just continuing to play a bit forward, trying to keep the bot locked in position, but can't overstay his welcome. Has to roll out of there, but they still have such a stark lead right now.
Okay, this is where Seoul can catch up. 4 ultimates about to be online, including the Nano. Fitz just got a double kill onto the back line, the double supports of the Philadelphia Fusion. EMP can be set up here for something good. MN3 already low. First target down. That's important. You need MN3 down.
Yeah, just throw everything at MN3 right now is basically the game plan for Seoul Dynasty. That's the only thing that they have written on in the playbook is kill the enemy Ashe. I'll drive it down and look for the kill on this S. Can't quite make it happen. Sticking to the back line though. Profit finding Aim God. Opens up a good amount of space. Now the bot continuing to push forward. Checkpoint definitely achievable here for the side of the Dynasty, but of course the bot then take his break. But speaking of bots, a little bit of a botch on the throw out, it seems. Bob just going to be sat here on the high ground, so he's not contesting. It's Belosria does have to play forward, and Bob doesn't have the greatest sightlines in the world at the moment, but they have stopped Dynasty from pushing forward, at least for the time being. Nano out, look for the dive into the back line. MN3 knocked down about half HP, but the Dynamite is in, and MN3, he kills Profit all the same. The Nano be damned, he doesn't care. The damage is just too good.
That's even with the whiff Bob as well, I was going to say. I mean, Seoul Dynasty are definitely not going to get this for free. Fusion should contest with a Bob if nothing else. But I do believe Seoul managed to cap, so Silver Lining is still pretty big here. As we'll remember from the Washington Titans game, getting that cap means that the second time you go around, the bot is not going to stall. So that alone is worth that cap and nothing else. So Philadelphia Fusion, 2 minutes left to go for a defensive game, and a 2 meters separating them. MN3 gets a nano. I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just give everything to this guy because he's got to do things like that. Quick scope in, gets the headshot. Van Ham taken out of the fight. delaying the Transcendence. He finds Fitz as well, who just tries to run into the back line. And M3 is going absolutely nuclear. There's nothing, absolutely nothing that the Dynasty can do.
Yeah, Rostam launching nukes. He opened the briefcase. He's got the launch codes. He's got the launch codes. They turned the keys in the submarine, and MN3 is in the skies. Like an ICBM straight on top of the Seoul Dynasty. This is insane, MN3. I haven't ever seen them. I cast this guy for full year contenders. Have never seen this guy play this good before.
It's just utterly incredible to witness.
Enemy here.
They're still now so very close to making this work. MN3 going to be taken out.
They're only going for MN3 because they have to.
Yeah, the Transcendence comes in, keeps everybody else alive. Providence Smurf now going to be taken down. Fixa hacked, antied out. They will get that elimination at the very end, but MN3 has respawned. He's on his way back. The pulse bomb down to the floor. Not going to find the stick. Zest taken out. Vinheim, a nice headshot at the chest. Follow up, does get that kill. Now Bob going to be charging through into the back, but MN3 left out the dry, ends up going down. Bot being shipped over as quickly as they possibly can make it happen here now. As the cleanups come in, Bellisria just continuing to contest, will finally die, and the bot can start moving once more for the Dynasty.
Okay, mines are available though, so that could be a little bit tricky. It's actually available on both sides, and there's no good way to clear these mines. Certainly no EMP to do the job for you. 65 meters now on board for the Fusion, so more work to be done for the Dynasty, but again, the Dynasty do not have to wait for the bot to be staggered on their checkpoint itself. They're about one fight away from maybe competing for the 65. This is gonna be an OT where the Seoul Dynasty have to play pretty perfectly for at least one fight.
All right, it's pushing right now. 5 meters left to go. The contest going to have to come through.
Oh, no, that's
going
huge.
to be taken down. Now they get back over to the bot. 5 seconds now remaining. Dynamite through. Fitz translocates away. He keeps himself alive. The Nano at the ready here from Creative. Bot held. OT. Ticking away, the Nano goes out onto Prophet. He dives into the back line. He's looking for MN3 once more, but has to use the recall. He repositions. Creative going to be eliminated. Bellisria traded out the front line, broken down. The pulse bomb going to be thrown onto the floor. It doesn't find an elimination, but they will manage to get MN3 in the very end.
2v3
is going to be there. 2v3, as you say. It's still the Fusion managing to win out. Zest still alive, still holds onto the pulse. Swap over onto the Doomfist. Smurf taken down as soon as he rejoins. The pulse bomb goes out. It will not find a kill. God nanoed up, and there you go. It bleeds away so very rapidly, and the Fusion have made it happen. MN3 has made it happen. They will finally take down the Dynasty here in the 2022 season. Long have they waited. MN3 activated. This guy, give him the player of the match right now. It doesn't need to be discussed. It is a clear-cut decision. I'm making the call. Hand it to him right now. Anything else would be highway robbery.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about so many of the good rookies so far. We talked about how good everyone else is. Zest has been kind of the prime carry on this team for the longest time, but it's time for everybody else to move on over. It's time for MN3 to enter that conversation for real. He's been working up for this moment for quite some time now. Just look at how much of an individual carry performance completely shifted the Seoul Dynasty, made them swap off the Doom, Fitz swapping off his own Ashe, Prophet basically only going for MN3. Every pulse has MN3's number on him, but not every single pulse is going to land. But Prophet only wants to kill MN3 because they know that's the target. That's the guy that has to go down.
That's the win condition.
And I said, how wild would it be if one person carried you to victory against the Seoul Dynasty here? That's exactly what happened. I mean, I don't want to disregard the rest of the team because even towards that final fight there, MN3 dies, but the rest of them are still kind of working it through. MN3 goes to Genji on attacking C for Circuit Royale. The rest of the team still has to push on through, so everyone else is still there. But MN3 is going to get you to the location first so that the rest of the team can prosper. I haven't seen a carry performance like that out of one player. Again, since like Arns in 2020. Yeah. That was
this whole season,
unbelievable.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, honestly, I think the closest thing would be like Prophet on the one map of Ilios versus the Shanghai Dragons to help them get that victory. You know, that clutch moment where he goes in, basically kills everybody by himself. But this was MN3 across multiple maps, finding such an incredible amount of value. I haven't seen a performance like this from an individual player here, at least in APAC so far throughout this entire season. This was utterly incredible, and yeah, like I said, it's a no-brainer. If you gave it to anybody else, it would just be the worst decision that you could possibly make. MN3 is our player of the match.
You didn't watch the game if it's not MN3. I mean, you simply just didn't watch the game if it's anybody but MN3 here. And wow, I mean, this is also significant because it's versus the Seoul Dynasty. I mean, it's not like MN3 just popped it out and, he's playing against the Valiant, the Charge, or somebody. Yeah, it's just kind of padding stats. No, you're up against the damn Seoul Dynasty. You're up against two potential MVP candidates in Prophet and Smurfs. You're up against Fitz, who's been lauded as one of the best hit scam players right after the lip, who, last year himself made an incredible name for himself in the Ashe. And MN3 just said no to everybody. He's like, yeah, I'll have D, none of the above, thank you very much. And on top of all of that, if that wasn't enough, Seoul Dynasty's win streak has been broken. And I'm not just talking about the 7-0 that they came in with versus the Philly Fusion. Forget about that. I mean, we talked about Fusion. It's like, can they take a map? No, how about just take the whole series here? But also, Seoul Dynasty can no longer get that perfect stage anymore. This is their only loss in the entire mid-season qualifier. And overall for the entire rivalry as well, the scoreline is now 7-5. So it was 7-4. We started this year with 5-4, so it was a very close rivalry. Since then, Seoul have been climbing ahead. Fusion, I'm happy to say, finally clawing back themselves.
Well, utterly incredible and a breath of fresh air for not just the Fusion players, but for the fan base overall. This is going to be a scary amount of hopium injected directly into their veins ahead of a Midseason Madness. But if they can perform like that, if MN3 can show up in international competition, then there is not a team in this world that can go in with confidence versus the Fusion, because that was a terrifying performance, striking fear into the hearts of everybody, not just the APAC region, but everybody that is potentially going to have to play against them when it comes down to that Midseason Madness tournament. We're not done yet, though. There's so much more, I think, to talk about. Many more praises to be sung for MN3 in particular. So we're going to go to a quick little break, and when we come back, we'll have our game break, chat a little bit more about this, what it potentially means for the Fusion moving forward into the Midseason Madness tournament. So don't go anywhere, guys.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Upper Deck, the official trading card of the Overwatch League. And by TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League.
And we are back, and if you're just now joining us and you see that scoreline, no, we are not replaying matches from the past. The Fusion just absolutely showed up. MN3 in particular put on his carry pants, he ate his Wheaties, and he absolutely clapped. He ate his, I say he ate his Wheaties. I think it was the cheesesteaks. Roston, GM of Fusion. If I'm correct, if the cheesesteaks were the secret to this victory, I think you owe me one because I introduced you guys to that restaurant. So quick service me a cheesesteak over right now. I think you owe me that much, and I'm also a little peckish at the moment. But man, what a match we just witnessed. Dynasty kicking things off, winning that first map of Oasis, but that's as good as it got for them.
I know, and speaking of peckish, by the way, Achilles, I mean, I got a taste of the good stuff, but I need to eat more. I'm hungry for a little bit more action, so wow, Philadelphia Fusion, super impressive stuff. One thing that I can definitely confirm is, you know, this is the leveled up MN3, now he's MN4. This is what MN4 looks like, so boom, done. Philadelphia Fusion, though, I think this is great in terms of their look to go to Midseason Madness because they were potentially, I don't know, one of the most underhyped teams in our top 4 qualified for the Midseason Madness. There were so many doubts, and look, I'm not going to lie to you, I think Chengdu were at least a little bit hard done by the format points-wise. So if Fusion are going to be the team going on through, and they are, then I need to see them step up big time. They need to be, I think, worthy of a top 4 position, because previous to this, I was like, you know, I think Chengdu are like a top 4 team right now. I'm not so sure about the Fusion or maybe even the Spark. But with Chengdu kind of losing out yesterday as well to the Spark and an 0-3, Spark kind of showing their mettle, proving themselves, and they'll maybe do a little bit more of that in the next match as well. Philadelphia Fusion to me with the next question mark on the list, like, are they going to perform in the Midseason Madness versus the other 4 teams? I don't want it to be a situation where it's just Seoul and Shanghai that look good versus NA and the other 2 teams are forgettable. However, this game has single-handedly turned around my confidence levels for the Philly Fusion walking into Midseason Madness. And if you're underestimating this team now in the Midseason Madness, you're some NA teams like, we're just going to roll them. Hell no. Hell no, you're not. Look at this. This is unreal.
Yeah, utterly incredible. And it feels like, to you know, for people who enjoy good movies, it felt like Chengdu Hunters were kind of like Tom Hanks at the end of Saving Private Ryan. You know, we looked over at Matt Damon and he said, earn this. They said that to the Fusion, like, you've been given this spot, we're not going. Everybody thinks that we're the, you know, 3rd best team